Hey, what's up everybody? In this video, we're gonna take a look at Courageous Simba from The Lion King. Courageous Simba is just as easy to get compared to Happy Anna from this month. It is a lot easier to get compared to Filar Magic Mickey. So if you are trying to get Courageous Simba, you have some time to do so. You have until probably the end of the month here, so you still have a good amount of time to try to get a copy of the Courageous Simba. Now let's take a look at the ability description. Courageous Simba is going to clear Tsums in a few spots and then the center area. The game demonstration that you're watching right now is a skill level 1 game demonstration, so the skill range is going to be extra small. Let's take a look at his stats now. In order for you to activate his ability, you will need to clear 17 copies of Simba off the screen to activate the skill. The minimum score is 120 with a maximum score of 953. So it has a pretty high minimum score, but the maximum score is not that great. I would say Courageous Simba is good for the lower levels, but definitely not as good when you have Simba maxed out. And if you do want to get Courageous Simba to skill level 6, you will need to get a total of 29 copies of him in the premium box. And by the way guys, if you guys are enjoying this type of Tsum Tsum content where I review Tsums and also do monthly leaks, then please consider subscribing to this channel and turn on notifications if you want the latest information right away. Okay, so let's take a look at the skill chart. So every time you level up Simba, the skill radius will get a little bit bigger. It goes from extra small to the maximum of extra large. And in order to get to skill level 6, again, you need 29 copies. It's actually not too bad. It is considered on the easier side to max out Courageous Simba. And one thing I really like about Courageous Simba is that his ability is really easy to use. So there are a couple of things to know about Courageous Simba and setting him up. The skill range that is described here is only one component, and it's really the last burst where Simba comes out and does a twirl and then bursts that center area. The other three little jumping hoppy around thing that he does doesn't necessarily matter too much, so keep that in mind when you are using Courageous Simba. And also one cool thing about Courageous Simba is that you don't need to use the gyro, so you could play with the gyro off. Okay, so now what I want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of all three of the skill levels for Courageous Simba. At skill level 1, it's going to be extra small. Skill level 2 is going to be small, and then finally at skill level 3 is going to be skill range of a size of medium. And again, this is referring to the last burst where the big circle comes out and bursts a bunch of Tsums. So one thing I really like about Courageous Simba is that he is really easy to use, and he's very beginner friendly as well. So if you are a beginner player or just someone that casually plays and don't want to get into the techniques of a lot of Tsums, then Courageous Simba is perfect for that. And the strategy to using Courageous Simba is actually very simple. What you want to do is activate his ability as soon as possible. And if you are someone who likes to spam the ability button like I do, that's actually the best thing to do. One thing to know about Simba's ability is that when you activate the ability, the screen doesn't freeze like other abilities. If you notice there, if you activate the ability, you'll see that Tsums are still falling from the top to bottom. So you don't necessarily need to set up your playfield to maximize the coin earning because it will naturally continue to fall. But one thing what you might want to do is you might want to get rid of the bubbles that are on the screen already and pop those because they do get in the way. Depending on what skill level you have your Courageous Simba at, if you're playing at skill level 1, the bubbles are unlikely going to get in your way. But if you do play Courageous Simba at the higher skill levels, then you definitely want to get rid of them. For example, if you're playing Courageous Simba at skill level 1 and you have a bubble on the bottom right hand corner or the bottom left, then it probably won't get in the way. But if you have a bubble in the center area, then it's definitely going to impact your chain count. And when it impacts your chain count, that means that you're going to get a lot less coins. So you definitely want to get rid of those bubbles, especially if you are going for a maximum coin earning potential before you activate the ability. And what I also like about Courageous Simba's ability is that his animation is really cool. It's very peaceful at first. He comes out and shakes his little head and all his little fur goes all the way around. I'm not actually sure if it's fur or if he has like a reef on his head. I'm not too sure. It kind of looks like a bunch of leaves, but I could be wrong that it might just be a collar or something. But anyways, what I also want to show you guys is a side-by-side comparison of his ability activated at the same time. So let's take a look at that. We'll first look at it in full speed and then we'll slow it down to analyze it. So here's the animation where Simba comes out and has 3 little steps and then the final burst. So keep a close eye here. I'll slow it down here where Simba comes and shakes his head. And then there are 3 prances, and these 3 prances don't really matter too much. So let me just play these back for you and show you. They're going to be in the ranges of 5 to 7 clears for these little steps. It doesn't matter between skill level 1 or skill level 6. However, I did notice a difference between skill level 1, 2, and 3 versus skill level 4, 5, and 6. And notice that I got a little bit more burst for the higher skill level at 4, 5, and 6. So let me know what your experiences are when you are using Courageous Simba. Do the higher levels actually get you more bursts for the first 3 little steps or not? And this is the part where it matters in terms of the skill range. At skill level 1, the skill range is going to be a little bit smaller compared to skill level 3. So take a look at the size here, and this is the area where the burst is going to be. So like I mentioned earlier, you definitely want to pop the bubbles that are in this zone. So you have a bubble there in this area that you see on the screen, you definitely want to burst them. At skill level 1, I was able to get a chain of 19. Skill level 2, I was able to get 22. And finally, skill level 3, I was able to get 24. Depending on what zooms you have on the screen, this number will vary, especially if you have a large zoom on the screen. Having a big zoom on the screen will add you 4 additional chains. So let's say you're supposed to get 22, then you're going to get 26. So just keep that in mind. Your numbers may vary depending on how your screen is set up and also if there are any big zooms. So let's take a look at the coin earning potential as well as the score earning potential for Simba. Keep in mind, Simba is not necessarily assumed that you would be using to get a high score. You're really using Simba because it's really easy to use to get a lot of coins. So let's take a look. So at skill level 1, I was able to get 1,101 coins. Skill level 2, I got 1,698. And then finally, at skill level 3, I got 1,840 coins. So from a coin earning perspective, not really that great for coin earning. There are definitely going to be better zooms out there that you could get. But if you do want a really cute zoom and that has a really good animation, then Courageous Simba is a good option for that. I actually really enjoy the animation and the cutscene, definitely very enjoyable. And then when it comes to score, like I mentioned, not going to be the best zooms for score. For skill level 1, I got 3.1 million. Skill level 2, I got 4.4. And skill level 3, I got 5.1. So you wouldn't necessarily be using Courageous Simba for coin earning. So that's my review for Courageous Simba. I hope that you guys found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you guys would like more Tsum Tsum content just like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And as always, thank you so much for watching.